Walt Harrison, Kenny Consulman here at the Oakland Coliseum Arena. We're about ready to move into the fourth period of play here in the first half in the championship round game between the Jolters and the Pioneers. I might add that the Pioneer girls field is missing Sherry Eric, who's out with an injury. Very fine skater. Here we go. Who's going to get out of that pack first in the jam? Looks like Mike Moore. He gets a whip number 4. He gets it from Cal Stevens, number 8. Bob Hine, 57. A blocker out front looking for a jammer. He says, somebody get up here. He can find a jammer. Jerry Cattell, Gibson, Stafford keeping the Pioneers from getting a jammer anywhere near the head of the pack. The only man out and moving in the play is Mike Moore, number 4, moving here for the Jolters. He is the only threat. That means the Jolters entirely in the offense. They don't have to worry about defense. They trail by 1 point. There's Ronnie Robinson with the block back there. The great Ronnie Robinson, another block in there on Mike Moore. Here is Jerry Cattell, number 9, now back there to block. They're leading the charge. Mike Moore moving again. They're crisscrossing behind Ronnie Robinson. Remember, number 4 is the man that can score. Watch him. Cattell and Stafford, 8 and 7, are just trying to confuse the issue back there. Robinson trying to keep an eye on the key man. Oh! Well, somebody zigged when they should have zagged. Stafford went down. Cattell tripped over the top. Mike Moore tripped over the top of him. Seems to have hurt his arm. And no points picked up in there by the Jolters. They had too much teamwork going and not enough cooperation, I guess, Ken.
Walt, if you said Jerry Cattell was trying to confuse the issue, I think he succeeded beyond his wildest dreams that time.
So that play didn't work, and the Jolters had a great opportunity to tie up the score or to grab the lead. The score here is 13-12. The Pioneers lead. Remember, this is a championship round game. 2 of the top teams you're looking at out there in the bank track. Pioneers in the red and the blue, the Jolters in the blue and the black, and here we go again. Bill Hill is out of there for the Pioneers, number 51. Out to challenge him, Ted Tauscher, number 3, moving for the Jolters. So each team is a jammer out on the play. And there goes Bill Hill. Ted Tauscher, number 3, grabs the lead here for the Jolters. Once again, they're controlling the jam. Bob Hine back to the block, the bald eagle, number 57. Bob Hine, block on Tauscher. Bill Hill coming up, 51 in the jam. Knee blocked by Hine and Tauscher. Bill Hill grabs the lead. He's hit with a block thrown by Cal Stevens, the muscle man. Stevens with another block in there by Stevens. Stevens, number 8, doing the blocking in there. Hard leg block in there by Stevens on Bill Hill. Bob Hine, hard block on Tauscher, puts him on the rail. But Bill Hill was dumped by Stevens, so Bob Hine couldn't help him score. Here comes Tauscher again. There's Bob Hine, 57, blocking. Back there to try and help with Cal Stevens, and he eliminated his own man, but then he puts a block on Bill Hill, puts him down also. 1, and that's it. No score on that jam. So it remains 13-12. The Pioneers lead the Jolters. 8:06 to go here in the fourth period of play in the first half. It's always interesting to watch the crowd and see what team they get behind when it's 2 visiting clubs. I'd say so far, from what I've heard, they definitely favor the Pioneers. Would this be the case if this is at the amphitheater?
Walt, I don't think there'd be any doubt who the home team would be in the amphitheater.
Oh, they let you know. Great fans in the Chicago and the Midwest area. They love their roller derby. Go ahead, Ken, call the jam. We got men moving on the play.
Okay, Pioneers the advantage here. Johnny Rice out, and so is Nick Scopus on this one. They got Charlie Gibson wedged in between. Gibson trying to get the lead here. If he could get the lead, he'd probably cut it off right now. Pioneers, 45 seconds left to go in this jam. Still pacing Gibson out there. Gibson, look out, Stafford back. And Stafford managing to take both Pioneers out. Gibson is still going. But Stafford could be in trouble. I believe he's in position to get scored over by those jammers. Gibson, meanwhile, is moving into the pack, and he's certainly in scoring position. He calls it off. 3 Jolter points on that play. Charlie Gibson scoring. And that puts the Jolters out in front, 15-13. Walt?
I tell you, Stafford risked life and limb on that block, but he pulled it off.
That's a clutch situation. I certainly want to be the one that wouldn't want to be the one to try and throw a jump block like that. If you miss, somebody hasn't got a head to work with anymore.
Well, that's for sure, but he did the job for 3 points for his club. They lead 15-13 now.
Okay, 6.5 minutes remaining here. Fourth period, the last period in the first half of this championship round game. And the blocking is starting to get a little rough out there now. Ronnie Robinson and Jerry Cattell mixing it up in the pack. And Robinson gives Cattell just about all he wants. Cattell backing away from him. Jolters, meanwhile, have Charlie Gibson out on the jam again. I guess they figured he worked pretty good the last time out. They're going to go with him again. The Pioneers' Gary Lorenz trying to get to him. Walking back at the rear of the pack as Robinson and Cattell again are going at it. About half a minute in the jam. Jolters a lead jammer right here. Charlie Gibson, Ronnie Robinson on defense. Block on Gibson now. Lorenz in the lead. He's blocked back by Cal Stevens. Block on Gibson. Series of blocks by Ronnie Robinson. Elbow in there by Cal Stevens on Gary Lorenz. Another knee block by Stevens. And Gibson put over the rail by Ronnie Robinson. Lorenz is railed by Cal Stevens. A little over 10 seconds. Robinson working on Cal Stevens. Here comes Gary Lorenz. Robinson on block. Stevens is down. Lorenz still going, trying for additional points. Blocked out by Stafford. And time beginning to run out. Lorenz still trying to get in there. He's railed and the time of the jam runs out. And there is one important Pioneer point on that play. Gary Lorenz scoring over Cal Stevens, and Ronnie Robinson led the way for the point. 15-14 the score now. The Pioneers trailing by only 1.
And we have 5 minutes to go in this period. Get a lot of mail all the time, and I run into people all the time that say, I'd like to be a skater. How can I get into a training school? Well, it's very simple. You get the information. That's what you have to have first, and of course, that's what they're looking for. And here's how you can get the information. Just write to Roller Derby Training Centers, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. That's Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. Roller Derby Training Centers. You'll get the information on the training center near you. Right now, the Pioneers have 2 jammers out. They're in good position here. John Rice, 59. Nick Scopus, 54. Jerry Cattell whipped out of there by Mike Moore and Cal Stevens. Cattell, the big man, blast right through there. The 2 smaller men couldn't hold him off that time. And they are blocking like that. They're not holding at the wrist, or you certainly could stop a man. You cannot hold. You have to just cross at the wrist. And Cattell, with the head of steam, was too big for him that time. But he's meeting he's meeting Ronnie Robinson right now. 58 there blocking. And there's the first block by Robinson. Robinson out of there, scored. Cal Stevens blocking in there. Cattell scored the point, cut off the jam immediately. Buddy Atkinson running immediately to Ronnie Robinson. He is always out there to help his skaters, give them advice if they're injured. Boy, he's the first man on the spot. 16-14, the Jolters lead the Pioneers. 3:45 to go here. At the end of this half, we're going to talk to Jerry Cattell. I think you'll be interested in see what this man has to say. And don't forget, your Pioneers are going to host this Jolters in their opening series. The opening series, Pioneers will host the Jolters.
Walt, again, the Jolters, just a tremendously physical club, as we can see there. Ronnie Robinson doesn't have the size to run into a brick wall like Cal Stevens. He's got to count on his speed to outmaneuver him.
Here we go with another jam out of the pack. It's Bill Hill moving 51 to the Pioneers with him. 10 Tauscher number 3. And Jerry Cattell, the Pipit skater, is coming out. He gets whipped from Tauscher, so it's Jerry Cattell. Here comes Bob Hine up as a blocker. He can't cut off the play. He can't score, but he can sure stop Jerry Cattell. Bob Hine, the bald eagle, 57 moving in Jerry Cattell. He's overhauling him. He's almost alongside him right now. Tauscher, Bill Hill out in front, jump block by Bob Hine, and he did the job he set out to do. Eliminated the competition. Bill Hill, 51, trying to score on Cal Stevens now, but that's a tough job. Stevens, number 8, big muscle man of the Jolters, hammering blocks into Bill Hill. Tail put back in the pack by Bob Hine, the bald eagle, who never skated greater in his life than he is today. He's been around many years. Stevens blocking, could be illegal block. Dave Canella, referee, checking the blocking. Stevens breaks it loose, lays a knee block in there, Bill Hill. He's down, evidently it was legal. Robinson back there. Stevens says, don't bother me. He's waiting for Hill, and he goes back, puts a jump block into him. I think he's called for too far behind the pack. We'll wait and see what the referee has to say. Gary Lorenz grabbed by Cal Stevens and belted to the track. Could be a point and a penalty on the play. Atkinson Sr. takes a swing at JoJo Stafford. Couldn't find Stevens, swing at anybody nearby. And there we go. Ronnie Robinson getting in some crouch in there now. Ronnie Robinson and Stafford mixing it up. Cal Stevens down there. Grabs the referee, pulls him away. Buddy Atkinson Sr. in there to make sure Cal Stevens doesn't interfere. Listen to the crowd. They're cheering Buddy Atkinson Sr. They're cheering Ronnie Robinson. Well, 16-16 is the score. Well,
when Bud Atkinson says he'll fight for his team, he means it. He's in there every minute.
I admire him. I wouldn't come anywhere near Cal Stevens.
Not when he spots you twice the size in about half the years, too. But Buddy never gives up.
2.5 times a year.
2.5 times a year.
Cal Stevens has about 21 and 22, and Buddy admits to 58.
Well, he's been around this game since 1938, so you figure it from there.
Minute 04 to go here in this half. Jammers trying to move out of the pack. It's a 16-16 score. Don't forget, we have an interview at the end of the half. Nick Scopus is out of there, and he's got company in big Charlie Gibson. So here we go again. Once again, it's size out there. Gibson working on Scopus. Scopus is down. Cattell is out there. Cattell is moving also on the play, so the Jolters have two Jammers out. Now John Rice breaks away from the pack. He is moving. Penalty in the last jam on Cal Stevens and Ronnie Robinson, so each club down one skater, but the Jolters have 2 minutes scoring position. Bob Hine there blocking with the pivot helmet, and Charlie Gibson. John Rice coming up fast, though. Jerry Cattell, who's in scoring position, will have to worry about him. 23 seconds left. Cattell's blocked out of there. John Rice moving. He's grabbed the lead on the jam now. He's moving. He's going to score. Bob Hine blocking. Blocking in there by Larry Smith. And has 2 points. And Bob Hine and Stafford having a few words up here at this end of the track. Chris Ortiz, referee, gets in there. Buddy Atkinson to make sure things don't get out of line. Great play in there. Bob Hine doing some tremendous blocking along with Larry Smith for the Pioneers, and they grab the lead here. John Rice coming up fast, though. Jerry Cattell, who's in scoring position, will have to worry about him. 23 seconds left. John Rice moving. He's grabbed the lead on the jam now. He's moving. He's going to score. Bob Hine blocking. Blocking in there by Larry Smith. And has 2 points. And we still got hot words over here on the rail. Dave Canella, referee in there. Chris Ortiz trying to make sure things don't get out of line. Don't forget, we have an interview coming up. A lot of stations see the second half immediately. A lot of stations see the second half next week. But whatever, you're going to see this complete championship game between the Jolters and the Pioneers. As I mentioned, we're going to talk to Jerry Cattell in just a few moments. What he's going to talk about, we don't know. We'll talk to him about the last half. We'll also talk to him about the big series coming up when the Jolters open against the Pioneers in the Midwest. The Pioneers hosting this team in their opening series, so look for it. It's going to be a great one. Well, the score here at the end of the first half is the Pioneers 17 and the Jolters 16.